Hello, Carrie Rhoades here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and episode 1 of my February stamp set and die set of the month series. This month I am featuring the Everyday Purse Die Bundle by Concord 9th. They actually partnered with a friend of mine, Becky Roberts, to create this die and stamp set. I'm very excited to be featuring it this month and will be coming to you every week with new ideas with this die set. So for today's video, I'm going to be stamping some backgrounds with Concord 9th background stamps that will then be die cut into my purse. So I have a panel here that is 5.5 by 4 1/4, and I'm inking up the Gingham background stamp with Puffy Heart ink from Altenew. You can die cut the purse on this size of panel. It fits on it exactly. So I will stamp 2 of those, and you can see I'm using temporary adhesive on the back of this panel to hold it in place because the paper is the same size as my stamp. With that temporary adhesive on the back, I can secure it to my mat, and then I'm going to use the second stamp also from this same stamp set that has some stitching detail, and I'm going to be stamping those in the white spaces around the gingham for just some really cool added detail. And because this is a photopolymer stamp, I am getting a really good pattern, like it's stamping really easily, lining up without a lot of stress. It's fabulous. I know photopolymer stamps are not a new thing, but still it always makes me feel like I'm a rock star stamper when I can line things up like this. So just want you to know it's easy to do and stress-free. So there you have it. I did that on the second piece as well, so they both match. And now I can bring in my die set and go ahead and die cut 2 of the purse pieces. And that's what you'll need in order to make this 3D purse. You can see it fits on this panel exactly. So that is perfect. So I will go ahead and die cut both of those, and you'll see when I die cut this second one here, I'm going to add another die to it. There's a die in this set that notches in the top of the die, the purse part of the die, and that's creating a little slit in the purse that will lock in with the closing mechanism of this purse. So you really only need it on one side, and only if you're going to use that particular closing mechanism. So I'm erasing my temporary adhesive, and then I'm bringing back my scrap because I realized that it's just the right size to die cut one of the tags. Now here are all the other pieces that you're going to want for your purse. Now this is a stepped up purse that I'm doing right here. You don't have to use all of these pieces. You can decorate your purse as much as you like or as little as you want. And across the screen I am putting how many of each of these pieces that you'll need. Some of them are just accent pieces for my tag, so I've not put those on there, like the tiny little straight piece and the one that says hey, those are for my tag, so I didn't put those. And now I'm going to stamp one of the tag elements from the stamp set. It has little hearts in it. I'm stamping that on the gray, cutting it out with the tag, and I'm just running that through the last time I'm running through that little detail for my purse. Now this longer piece is the jump ring. I'm cutting that from silver paper, and then the heart is an accent piece for my tag. You want to come back and fold on all the score lines that are made on this purse die cut. And once you have all of those folds, you can come in and now glue the 2 pieces together. I like to do this part and then go ahead and do the decorating of my purse. But you could do the decorating of the purse before you glue them together. It's just personal preference, really. So that's what it looks like. And then I will go ahead and start gluing on all the things. So this is the top of the purse. You'll need one for each side, and you could maybe not do as much detail on the back of the purse, but being a 3D object, I feel like it's really cool to have both sides of the purse done. So I'm going and gluing those on so that they are flush with the edge of the purse, and I'm checking that from the back. All right, now we have these cute little corner pieces. I love these, and they have stitching on them. Fabulous. So one for each of the 4 corners of the purse. And when in your die set, there are 2 corner pieces. So you just take both corner pieces and run them through twice to get your 4 corners. All right, now we have the jump ring. What I like about this is that the die is not just a ring, but it has this upper part and the lower part that are actually a guide where to glue on the other elements if you want to. You could leave it completely silver like this, but there are other dies for the bottom half of the jump ring, and then the top half is kind of a guide as to where you would glue on your handle. So you'll see me do that as we go, but I think that these look really awesome done with metallic cardstock like I've done here. All right, now that we have those in place, you'll see these jump ring elements that I'm gluing right over the top with the gray cardstock. So I've got the mix of the gray, which is meant to look more like leather, and then the rest of that jump ring to look like metal. So we'll glue those on, and they all have the stitched edge all the way around. So cool. And then you'll see next that we'll go ahead and stick on those handles after I get this hold down. It takes a little longer for the glue to adhere to metallic paper, so just give it a little bit of patience. Before we do the handle, you want to just give it a little I was gonna say rubbing, that's so wrong, but you know, curve it a little bit so that it will more easily bend. And I found having a tool or a clasp of some type to be very helpful in securing that and letting it take hold. So I stamped girl on my tag, and then the word hey that I die cut will go just above that, so my tag says hey girl. That's cute, right? All right, so glue that down with tiny dots of glue, and then we'll come back and work on our handle some more, and it will glue onto the same side of the purse. So just fold it around, wrap it around, I guess kind of twist it around. Yeah, and then we'll come back and work on the tag some more. While that one's drying, you can see that one I stamped with the little hearts is just a second tag. So I kind of have 3 layers to this tag. And while I'm gluing on the second handle, I want to point out that I did not put any glue on the ring part, the jump ring part of that jump ring die cut, so that I could put my tag into that loop. You'll see what I mean here in just a second. So we'll let that dry. By the time I worked on my second purse, I actually dug out some clips that I use for die cut things just as this, so you'll see I have a little bit easier method for that. All right, so these little flaps on either side are for your adhesive. You can use liquid adhesive here again, or some double stick tape. Concord 9th has very strong double stick tape that works really well. So you're going to fold those in, remove the backings, and then when you adhere this shut, you want to line up the top corner of this flap with the outside edge of the purse. And then it does have a gusset in it, which makes it really nice. I love that the die makes those score lines for me. All right, so we'll do that to the second side as well. And then I like to give it a little squeeze so that those gussets are really, yeah, nice and folded. Okay, now we have our closure strap. I'm also curving that with my fingers, and you could use a crease tool for this as well. We're going to glue that on to the back of the purse. I like to go ahead and notch these 2 pieces together so that I can line it up more easily when I glue it on the back side. So here I am squeezing that down, and I eventually put my tweezers on it to help hold it in place once I got it straight. And then we'll go ahead and insert that tag into the jump ring. Oh no, I forgot. I added some silver pearls to this. Like a lot of purses have hardware on them, so I thought that would be really cute to have another pop of silver on there. So I put it on all 4 of those leather pieces, and then one also on the clasp right there. Pretty cute, right? I love it. All right, so 2 more on the back, and I feel like this is a really good use of your large pearls. I don't often use them as much on my cards, but this is a really good place to use them. It's so cute. The pink and gray, I just love. All right, so now let's come in with that tag, and you can see this little strap here. I am able to put it under and through the jump ring because I did not put any adhesive on the actual ring part when I glued the jump ring die cut down. All right, so after that dried, I was able to kind of squeeze the bottom of the loop, and then my tags hang more flat. A gift card fits in here perfectly, as well as some little chocolates, a little jewelry, money. Yeah, all kinds of things. All right, for purse number 2, I'm using the Polka Dot Turnabout stamp. I love Concord 9th for their Turnabout stamps. Love them. I have lots of videos on Turnabout stamping and Concord 9th products in general. I'll link some for you at the end of this video. So you want to put down your Turnabout jig first, and then you're going to take the Turnabout alignment aid and you're going to line up the X's together. With the X's lined up, now you want to lay your stamp with the stamp side down so that it is perfectly aligned with your alignment guide. Then you close the door of your stamping tool to pick up that stamp and peel off that alignment guide. You don't need that anymore. And now you use the Turnabout jig to line up your paper. There's little notches there for my 5.5 by 4 1/4 paper so I can get it perfectly in the center. And then I'm going to ink this up with the Rose Petal Crisp Dye Ink Collection from Altenew. I'm going to start with the darkest of the 4 colors. They sell their inks in color collections, which is a set of 4, and they all work well together, especially if you're going to be doing stamp layering, which Altenew has a ton of those kinds of stamps. So I also love them in sets of 4 for turnabout stamping because I often use 4 colors of ink for turnabout stamping. So that is step 1. I am going to ink every turn 2 times just to get really solid polka dots. And then you want to turn it, turn the turnabout jig, leave your stamp on, and then once you've cleaned it off, ink it with your second color. And your paper has already been turned, so now when you stamp it, your next stamping is in a different spot. Okay, then we turn it, clean it, and stamp it again. I always try to turn, clean, and stamp so that I don't forget to turn it. Always turn first. All right, here's my third color. So I've got the 3 in the upper right corner so I know that I'm on the right step. We'll go ahead and ink that one twice. And then when I open this, I'll turn it for the last time. So the 4 is now in the upper right-hand corner. Clean off my stamp, and I'll bring in my lightest color and ink this up for the last time. This one I will definitely stamp 2 times because it is a light color, and that will just make it more saturated. Isn't that cool? Such a great background stamp. These polka dots you really could use for anything, and it's also super fun to emboss one of the stampings and have a layer that's embossed. It's really cool. All right, so now that that's all cleaned off, it's ready to go for my second piece. So I did 2 just like before because I need 2 panels to die cut my purse. And you'll see me do that here just as we did before, but I thought maybe seeing it 2 times, this one will be definitely more sped up than the first time I showed you the purse, but seeing it 2 times will just help cement in your mind how to put this purse together. So it is pretty easy to do, but those little reminders are really helpful. All right, so we just glue those together once they have been creased. And then we can go ahead and start decorating this. I'm also using gray to accent this purse. I have a friend whose daughter is getting married and I'm helping make the wedding invitations. And we have a lot of this particular gray cardstock left over in scraps. So I'm finding all kinds of fabulous ways to use up this gray cardstock, and this is perfect, these little pieces. Now here I'm putting the leather accents on my purse without the jump ring, so I'm making this purse like a little less fancy than the first one. I just felt that the polka dots could be a little less fancy than the first one. So you can see that you can make it even easier and less dressed up if you want to. And maybe that's a good idea if you're making this like for a kid. You know, maybe you don't want something as fancy if you're making a bunch for Valentine's Day or party favors. Wouldn't these make the cutest party favors? You could put a little lip balm in there, a little mini fingernail polish, some gum. I don't know. I think they'd be the cutest thing. All right, so here's my clips I often use for such things, and I can do all 4 of my handles at once. All right, now we put the double stick tape onto those little flaps so that we can put this purse together. And the biggest thing to remember when doing that is you want to try and line up the corner of the flap with the outside edge of your purse. So get those adhesive flaps removed. And then we can go ahead and close this up. I like that there's a nice big opening to this purse. You don't have to fight to get into it, and it holds more than you would think for how little paper it takes to make this. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. All right, so there we've got our purse all put together, and we can go ahead and work on our tag. So I'm taking another tag from the stamp set that says, "Hey friend," and stamping that with one of the purples I used for the purse. Purple Wave, I think that's it. All right, I stamped it twice because I'd never stamped that image before, and so I just want to make sure I got a really crisp image because it's more solid. Now this silver heart is the negative piece from the heart embellishment I used on the first purse, that circle heart element. So I'm using that on this tag, and I'll just trim a little bit that hangs off. I thought that would look cute. And I'm layering the polka dot tag behind it this time. So there's my little strap for the tag, and this is going to go right around the handle of my purse. So I'll wrap that around and just glue it to itself, and then I use my little tweezers to help hold it shut for me. It's like another pair of hands. So helpful. If I can ever get it to stick. There we go. All right, for this one, I thought some rhinestones would be really fun in place of how I use the pearls on the first one. So I'll flip this over very carefully, add them to the back as well as that closure strap to finish off this purse and give it a little bling. Just like that. One more on the flap. There we have it. And then I thought, well, the tag probably needs a little bling too, so I brought in some of the tiny ones and added those to the tag because, you know, if you're giving this to a young girl, the more bling the better, right? And there you go. So that is purse number 2, and I never ended up using the die cut hay that's hanging there on the table because I decided to use the stamped tag. So there's both of the purses. I would love to know which one you like best, and also I think you would love to have this purse in your collection. I love it. It is the cutest thing, and I have tons of ideas to show you guys in the coming weeks. So make sure you come back next Tuesday for some more ideas with this. And if you're new here, I'd love for you to subscribe. I have new videos throughout the week, and if you don't want to miss them, make sure you ring the little bell. And on the next screen, I have some other videos you might enjoy. You can also find everything that I used in the description box below. Thanks so much for stopping by. Happy stamping!